So when you think curling wand, you probably think this type of curling iron. This isn't on, so don't be alarmed. It is just a wand. It doesn't have a clamp. You typically take a section of hair, hold the wand like this or this, whatever's easiest, and just wrap it around. Now if you've done this before, you would realize that by the time you get kind of back here, it's a lot of manipulating. And then when you get on this side, if you've held the curling wand down over here for consistency, you'd want to do the same on this side. It might be a little bit more challenging to like bend it around, and it can certainly be done. But to me, it takes a lot of extra effort. I'm typically just a traditional curling iron type of girl. I don't use a wand very often, but I saw Hot Tools just launched a brand new curling wand that is a totally different shape than the typical curling wand, and I knew I had to give it a try. So I bought it recently. I've tried it once. I'm going to show you how I use it here today in this video. So a couple features of this iron is, again, it's at 90 degrees. You turn it on by the power button on the top, and then you can adjust the temperature by spinning the knob back here. The cord does swivel, so you won't run into any issues of the cord getting all wrapped up. It should get out of your way based on how you're holding it. I have my temperature currently at 390, but again, it's adjustable. So if you get this and try it on the lowest setting you can go with still getting a little bend in it for super loose waves. If your hair's resistant or you want tighter curls, crank that sucker up. So my hair's been blown dry. I brushed through it, and this is what I get. So I'm gonna divide it off just to show you clearly how I'm working with each section. But you don't have to clip your hair off if you don't want to. It's just a little bit easier for me to keep the other hair out of the way. This curling iron does come with that little black glove you may have seen. That's a heat protector for your fingers. I highly recommend using that if you aren't comfortable or if you're prone to burning. For me personally, it's a little bit distracting, and I find that I can be even more careful without the glove on, so I'm going to skip using it. So you'll hold the barrel like this. Your wrist is just naturally straight. There's no awkward bending, and just wrap it around. I like to leave my ends out even if I'm using a curling iron with a clamp on it, so I'll do the same here on the wand, and then drop it down. You get a nice little curl. I also like to rake through it right away just to make it nice and soft. You can see you get a nice little bouncy curl there. One of my favorite aspects of this shape is it gets so much easier as you're working your way to the back, as opposed to using the traditional style. You don't have to hold your arm in a weird direction. You can keep the curls going the same vertical up and down direction as when you're working closer to your face. It's just a lot easier to work with. Switching to the opposite side, it's a little bit easier because you have a lot more leverage with the bent handle, and you can still get that same shape all the way around. So if you go a little overkill on one of your sections and the ends curl up too much, just pull it straight and run the barrel of any tool you're working with right over those ends there. And that'll straighten them out a little bit. So once both sides are curled, you can kind of rake through it with your fingers, apply a bit of texture spray if you like to do that. I have loved for a long time and continue to love the Living Proof Full Dry Volume Blast. This gives your hair so much like fluff and airiness. I love it. So you gotta give it a good shake. And then I like to lift kind of big sections and spray it in the middle and then work my fingers through and kind of rough it up. Don't forget the back. So you can see that alone made it extra huge, which is right up my alley. And then for extra hold, I'll sometimes tease in through the middle part. I don't want a ton of volume on the crown like I used to, but I just want fullness in through like the middle and ends. So I'm using the fine tooth part of my comb and just teasing that under part, but you can't see any of it from the outside. And then I'll apply just a bit of hairspray to hold it in place. And this is the end result. It shakes out a little bit and loosens up even a little bit more. The more hairspray you use, the less softening will happen. If you really want them to loosen up, just skip the hairspray altogether. I happen to live in the South with a lot of humidity, so hairspray is an everyday kind of thing for me. But like I said, I love how much easier it is for me to use that shape of a curling wand. It actually excites me about using a curling wand a little bit more now that I don't have to fight with it on the other side. This isn't to say all of the other curling wands are terrible. A lot of people have really mastered them and prefer them over the clamp barrel. So I feel like I'm kind of in the minority that I've been using a barrel with the clamp for years and years while everyone sort of shifted over to the curling wand. But this is a great option if you couldn't quite get the hang of that wand down, or you want to give it a try. If you have wrist issues, this is going to ensure that you're not bending your wrist in really weird directions. And in general, I would say it's pretty dang easy to use.